All right, folks, welcome to District Divided. I am a host, Amit Singh. Joining me is Matt Regan and Kadeen Wiggins, a.k.a. K-Dot. The Washington football team just made their pick at pick 19. It is Kentucky linebacker Jamin Davis. We're going to talk about that just now. We're also going to briefly touch on the Detroit Lions pick. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. We got a lot to talk about, so let's just get straight into it. And Matt has a take that he's going to give you guys as well. He's very excited to do that. But beginning with this pick, Kadeen, what are your thoughts on it? Jamin Davis at pick 19, linebacker from Kentucky.
I like the pick. I mean, it was between him and now that Micah Parsons was off the table, which everybody knew going in the last episode, was probably my top pick. But I'll say this now, fuck him forever because he's a Dallas Cowboy. But beyond that, it was between this kid and the linebacker from Notre Dame, whose name I always keep forgetting. But to think that you got Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio to think highly of this guy, I was looking back over Carolina's draft history, and usually when they go high on a linebacker, it's usually a guy that's going to work out. Not necessarily the perennial Pro Bowlers, but they are good starters on those defenses. To think we have somebody that could really mess around as far as on the inside and outside of that linebacker position in 4-3, he's got really good speed. And if you're looking at looking at his draft stock at the end of last year, it's a guy that's been slowly running up the ranks. And I mean, I kind of like that. And I think Ron is in perfect position to get the best out of the linebacker. So anytime I hear linebacker in Washington with Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, and I also here's the thing about it. Linebacker was definitely an area of need for this team. Now,
Absolutely.
What I was thinking at 19 was, like you said, the Notre Dame linebacker, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, or maybe someone like Christian Darrisaw. But I think the offensive line sort of got ruled out just a little bit, not completely ruled out with the Eric Flowers trade, with him coming back, with getting that depth on the offensive line. So Jamin Davis is somebody, like you said, Kadeen, his stock just kept rising slowly but surely. He was a bit out of my picture, but when I look at, his numbers, so over 100 tackles last season as a junior, which is a huge jump from just the 30 as a sophomore. He has 3 interceptions. He forces fumbles. He can get after the quarterback. And again, he makes tackles. This team was sorely lacking in that department. We have a great defensive line, but what's there after? We have Cole Holcomb. We have John Bostic. We need more. Jamin Davis, 6'4", 235. That is a great size for a linebacker. He's pretty quick as well. I like the pick. That's the quick analysis here from me. Matt, did you have anything to add?
I do have a question. I mean, you look at this team, we've talked about how strong this defense was last year, expected to be next year. Were you guys hoping to go on an offensive pick? Because there are definitely some holes to fill in that offense. It's not I'm not even taking shots. It's not like it's a super strong quarterback group as of now. It's not a bad quarterback group, but it's not the best. Were you hoping to give them more weapons to play with or move on that front, or are you happy with the linebacker pick?
I'm happy with the linebacker pick just because of the way the draft kind of played itself out, right? So, I mean, right now you had all those quarterbacks go so high, unless Washington was trying to put together a package. You guys already know how I feel as far as drafting the quarterbacks position, especially with the quarterback run that we already have. If you're looking as far as on the offensive side, all right, yeah, there's a lot of wide receivers as far as in this draft, but I still think even when we come around on our next pick, there might be 1 or 2 guys that still fall down that you can still make a move there on. But if you're looking at the defense, you're never going to hear anybody say that you can't continue to make your defense better. And if you're looking at the defense right now, the biggest glaring hole is in the middle of the defense. Defensive line looks stout. Even Ryan Kerrigan, I keep hearing rumors that he might even be coming back. You see what we did in the offseason as far as bringing in Jackson from Cincinnati at cornerback, which I think was one of the steals as far as free agency went. There's more talk about Landon Collins potentially moving into more of a hybrid position to get Cam Curl on the field, which just to me means they're trying to get bodies in that linebacker position. They understand that's the biggest weakness of that defense. And if we can shore that up, if you've got a defense that's basically Super Bowl contending in and of itself, you can do anything. So, I mean, it's the same thing that people kept saying about Washington over the years. Why are you guys getting another Alabama lineman? Why are you guys doing another Alabama lineman? And look at that defense now. Like, you can't always do better. Always try to build that unit up to the best of its freaking abilities. And look, at the end of the day, some of these guys are going to have to get paid soon. So you're going to need replacement guys for those things, and you're going to need dudes that can actually learn to gel within this defense and earn their stripes in this defense so they can continue on and we can have success.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When we talk about the positional pick, I love it. right? I don't know a whole lot about Jamin Davis. I do like the size that I saw against 6'2" or 6'4", 235. I like the numbers over 100 tackles. But when you're talking about moving Landon Collins, who is a seasoned veteran in this league, to linebacker, you know that's an area of need. Collins could end up being a great linebacker if we go that route, but it was clear that this was a position of great need for this team. I know the defense is stacked, but when you actually break it down and put it under a magnifying glass, linebacker actually was a pretty glaring hole. So I'm glad Jamin Davis is going to be joining the crew. It's a very deep wide receiver class. We brought in Curtis Samuel, so I feel pretty good about that. You got Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, who used to be teammates at Ohio State, by the way. So nice to have that connection as well. And I'm personally, I like some of the other guys. I like Steven Sims. I like Cam Sims. Maybe I'm a bit delusional in that respect, but again, it's a deep wide receiver class. You can always grab one a bit later. I personally liked it. Now, something I did want to touch on, guys, is the NFC East was actually a very big talking point in this draft so far. So entering the night, we had Dallas at pick 10, the New York Giants at pick 11, the Eagles at pick 12. In one of the more shocking moves, the Eagles and Cowboys actually swapped picks there. I did not think I was going to see that, but the NFC East actually had two different teams swap first-round picks. The result was the Philadelphia Eagles picking the third wide receiver off the board, Devontae Smith, who won the Heisman last season, and the Cowboys ended up getting Micah Parsons, who Kadeen really wanted. I desperately wanted. That's the last time I'm going to ever say anything nice about Micah Parsons on this podcast. He's a beast. And the Giants ended up picking up a whole lot of picks from the Chicago Bears, who ended up getting Justin Fields. I think it's a great pick. That was the only quarterback I would consider taking in this draft that would have been available past pick 2. So it was very interesting from that perspective. Kadeen, did you think we should have gone up and traded for Justin Fields or anything like that?
No, and especially not quarterback. I mean, Justin Fields is my favorite quarterback out of this draft. Trevor Lawrence to me doesn't count because I already think Trevor Lawrence is a bust, but I think Trevor Lawrence is a bust because of where he's going. I can't separate the two. Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence, they're married forever, and it's just not success that I see happening there. I love the Chicago pick. I mean, I tell you that, yeah, I was kind of surprised seeing the trade between NFC East foes, but when you saw Denver pick up, Surtain at that point, right? Yeah. Was it Surtain? You start seeing the cornerback position I thought was going to be something that was going to hit heavy within that NFC East bracket at that particular point in time. And once that kind of went away, I don't think the teams were that worried about each other in the sense of like what it is they were going to do or where they were going to pick, because I think there were enough just bodies on the board. So I don't think it was a huge deal. As far as Washington's fit into it, I'm fine with exactly where it is we stood. There was nobody other than Kyle Pitts, in my opinion, that I would move up to go get. Because nobody's glaring that far out to me that I need to leverage anything for. I mean, unless there's somebody in the front office they absolutely love. But once again, the draft is a fucking crapshoot. And you never know what you're going to get. And, like, if you could tell me that I'm sitting right here at 19 with Jamin Davis as far as a linebacker that this team is going to get, I'm saying I look at the first round as a successful round for us. I'm perfectly set with the way that the team operated this round.
I totally agree. I'm just glad we didn't end up with Mac Jones. I suddenly got very fearful once he was the only one left, and it seemed like the only destinations, New England, New Orleans if they traded up, and then Washington. We know they went after Stafford. We know they've gone after Wilson, Watson. Mac Jones could have very easily ended up in DC, but thankfully he went to New England. Matt, did you want to quickly comment on the Lions pick, Penei Sewell?
Yeah, I mean, picking 7, like I said, I think it's fair the Lions give Jared Goff a year. I don't think we're counting on him as a quarterback of the future. I think we're, too late in the draft to really go after a top prospect and want to go all there. We're a rebuilding team, rebuilding franchise. Seems like go get an offensive tackle. I think people are pretty high on him. And I know he sat out last year, didn't play at all for Oregon, but offensive tackle seems like a good foundation for many years. So yeah, expect us to be Super Bowl contenders in I don't know, 2 years.
There it is, Motor City Dan Campbell running the show over there. Now, Matt, did you want to give us your take that you teased to us a little bit?
Yeah. I just need to put this out there. I know we're talking about the draft. You guys seem to have a good day, and it seems like you guys have been doing a lot of the mock drafts. And we had a great host last time watched the episode. It was one of our many views. People that watch the draft are losers. People that do all this mock draft stuff, you guys are absolute losers. It is the worst month of sports media that there is because it's the laziest journalism. It's the same story, rinse and repeated. You have these mock drafts that like work goes into them. I get the big boards. The big boards to me, those make sense. That is someone saying, hey, this is how I rank the players going forward. That to me makes sense. Then you do the mock drafts and it's like, oh, there's a trade took place at number 5 and my entire first round is all blown up because of that. So I think that's dumb. I think that people react to this and like have these big expectations for what your team should be doing. But in reality, as Kadeen, you said, the draft is a crapshoot. It's only going to be determined in 3 years. No one here watched any college football of any of these teams. So your reaction is just based on what people read, which is just like not also just spewing out crap on crap on crap. So how many times do you read these articles that say a team has reached a decision on what they're going to do? A team is open to offers. A team is open to trading down. It's just it's the worst period in sports media. It's rinse and repeat, and people just read it. The draft could have happened in late March. You didn't need to take this long. Like the college season ended in January. The Super Bowl took place in February.
Dude, no, okay.
You could have done your pro days. You can move the timelines up.
You've had enough of the floor. You've had enough of the floor. Here's the problem with what you're saying. First off, March Madness is arguably one of the greatest sporting spectacles out there. Okay. You're not going to have the draft in the middle of March Madness.
It doesn't even need to be on TV. It shouldn't even be on TV.
It absolutely should be. Here's the thing about the NFL draft. It represents all 32 teams win on one day. They win on 3 straight days. You are adding to your team. You are adding to your team, and people get very excited about that. That's one. 2, it's basically a giant puzzle, and there's a lot of betting that goes on with it too. A lot of what you end up seeing is a result of betting markets being there as well. So I think it being a puzzle for people to sort of solve and see how many you can get right, enjoyable. You figure out your team needs. You start thinking about that. It's early days in the off season. And also,
no, it's not. It's not though. You already filled. You already had free agency. You already had free agency.
This is where you get the very best college players onto your team. This is where it happens. This is where a guy like, I don't know, Deshaun Watson goes to Houston. This is where Patrick Mahomes goes to Kansas City. This is where franchises get changed. But people didn't even go nuts on those picks. So sure, it happened. Of course they did.
But draft day was not.
You don't think people in Houston went crazy when they got Deshaun Watson fresh off?
Maybe Deshaun Watson, not Patrick Mahomes. I think it was built up.
If they moved up that much, then I think people did go crazy. I'm sure if you asked a bunch of Kansas City fans, a whole rack of them.
I think a lot. I bet a lot were
tired
very
of watching Alex Smith. They were tired of watching.
I found a battle really because they were pretty good the year before. Pretty good the year.
As a guy who had to watch a bunch of Texas Tech games because my girlfriend at the time was a Texas Techer, and there wasn't a lot of fanfare when Patrick Mahomes came out of anywhere. I mean, there were people that knew about him. It wasn't like everybody was raining. Look. Matt's not completely wrong. The draft is fucking stupid for the most part. Like, if I was an NFL team, I'm more of the George Allen mindset, which is F the draft. Give me my free agents to build my goddamn team. Like, because I don't agree with the crapshoot aspect. There is a lot of just fluffed up media bullshit that gets put in with the draft. Thus, them changing it into a fucking 4-night, 5-night spectacular where the first round's on Thursday, second round, third round's on Friday. It's just media dollars. Like, the mock drafts, for the most part, are dumb as shit. At least the way the majority of people write them. Which is why I always appreciated you, Amit, as far as District Divided. Like, when I came on last year, and we were going through what Washington was going to do. Our mock draft was not really a mock draft as much as it was, here are the positions in which we get, and these are a range of players that we would be okay with that might be there. If all mock drafts look like that, I'd be fine with the insight. Because I do think it's kind of exciting. Like, I don't watch the NCAA, but you know what I do leading up to the draft? I'm on YouTube looking at highlights. I'm looking at all the stats. I'm looking to see what defenses we're playing where so I can get a good idea of who I want on the team or who gets fit. To the best of my ability. Also knowing that there's a lot of other intangibles that can never really truly let you know whether or not any of these guys are going to pan out or not.
Look, I totally agree. I do agree. Well, maybe not totally, but I agree to a very large extent that, like, doing mock drafts in January, for example, I think is insane. I think once you get to March, once you get closer to April, it makes sense to generate some buzz about it. It's the biggest sport in this country. Of course, people are going to watch. Of course, people are going to tune in. Do I think it's overhyped? Of course I do. But ultimately, I do think it inspires hope for all 32 franchises, and there are huge fan bases. And all you're doing is adding players. You're not losing anyone.
Sure. But I think that's all done by the media.
I think it's
all done by the media. It's all sorry. I got to cut you off for that trash point because I haven't spoken in 5 minutes. Anyways, go ahead. You got hype for all 32 teams. Go on.
All I was going to say was all you're doing is adding players, except for maybe the Green Bay Packers, who had their franchise
that is a good
changed.
transition.
I know, I had it.
Segue city over here. Okay.
Unbelievable. I'm getting enough practice here. Pick 24 in 2005 was Aaron Rodgers. He just came out. Well, he did not specifically himself come out, but there are reports, and he has not quelled them at all. And now a lot of in the know accounts, Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, are all saying that he does not want to return to the Green Bay Packers. This is huge. This is huge news. So whatever your feelings on the draft are, this is enormous. This is the current reigning league MVP saying he no longer wants to play for the Green Bay Packers. He is 37, 38 years old. Tom Brady is 43, and he just won with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As a Washington fan, I'm saying trade what you need to for this guy. I mean,
you think if he's not happy in Green Bay, he's going to be happy in Washington?
Absolutely. With the defense that we have, absolutely he would be. The problem in Green Bay is that they no first-round wide receivers for him. So Davante Adams is great, amazing player, but no first-round wide receivers for Green Bay.
Okay, but he's better than anyone you can get in the first round.
They draft his replacement. The year they go to the NFC Championship game. They're a game away from going to the Super Bowl. What do? They draft his replacement. Second round, what do? They draft Aaron Jones' replacement in A.J. Dillon. They end up bringing Aaron Jones back, so it's sort of a wasted pick. Why do you have a backup running back now when you could have had a wide receiver? They consistently plan for a future. They consistently look the other way when it comes to Aaron Rodgers' needs. When you look at other quarterbacks, they end up getting high-priced players to play with. Some draft picks, for example, he doesn't seem to get that. He never seems to get that. I think they would – any team that trades for Aaron Rodgers would prioritize Aaron Rodgers, and it makes a lot of sense to prioritize him. He's still got 4 or 5 really good years left, in my opinion. Kadeen seems to disagree. What you got, Kadeen?
So I'm trying to couple this with all the bullshit that everybody keeps doing when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. So I'm trying to keep most of what my feelings about Aaron Rodgers are out of it and how overrated he is, and everybody wants to suck him off because they think he's a football guy, and he's quite not that. Also, I'd like to point out all of the BS where it comes to, if I'm not mistaken, Aaron Rodgers got drafted when they had Brett Favre on the team, and they had won the NFC North right before they did it. So, yeah, I play my fucking violin for Aaron Rodgers' fucking
But that's not helping Aaron Rodgers out.
But here's the thing.
It's
not a point at helping Aaron Rodgers. It's a point of helping the organization. And when you have a guy who, like you said, Matt, the NFL draft is a crapshoot. And what they have done when they have gotten some wide receivers there for him have been good. Randall Cobb, good. Davante Adams, good. Then if you're looking at any of the other quarterbacks that you put in that upper echelon, look at the way that their teams draft. A lot of them focus on defense to make sure that the defense is running correctly to get that offense. And that's what Green Bay spends a lot of their time on, is trying to make sure the defense is right. Because if you look at when they did win that championship in 2010, you look through that. Look, Aaron Rodgers did his thing in the Super Bowl. That entire run-up as far as the playoffs, he sucked ass, including almost losing to Jay Cutler's backup in the NFC Championship game, going into the damn game. And if it wasn't for that to have Charles Woodson, B.J. Raji, and a bunch of other Pro Bowls on that defense, they would have never even had that Super Bowl. But whatever. I digress. Yeah,
I'll go ahead and say, so if you want to bring that up, I mean, everyone gives Brady credit. Brady was not good in the run-up to the Super Bowl this year. Right.
He wasn't. No.
Okay. But if you want to talk weapons, I would say this is that you point out kind of individual receivers. I think it's rare that he has had 2 elite receivers, whereas you look around the league and you see a Russell Wilson.
Receivers?
Tampa Bay has 2 elite receivers.
Seattle.
And more. Seattle has 2 elite receivers.
Elite?
I mean, if you're mentioning Randall Cobb, I'm going to say Doug Baldwin and DK Metcalf are elite.
Or Tyler Lockett. Right. But yeah, no.
Tyler Lockett.
They've got
Same guy.
Doug Baldwin's a fucking beast too back in the day.
Around the league, having 2 wide receivers, and yes, they had Davante Adams, who luckily they don't have to spend a first round back on that. They found him. I think Aaron Rodgers is very happy with him.
Second round pick. Davante Adams, a second round pick.
Second round pick. Whatever. A lot of players in this league have multiple options, or at least multiple dangerous options to go with. And yes,
multiple dangerous options that weren't necessarily high draft picks or a lot of money spent in free agency. It's guys that ended up working out. Doug Baldwin's not a high draft pick.
Sure.
Look at all these other quarterbacks that win Super Bowls. Look at Eli Manning. I mean, they went out. I'm not going to deny it. They went out free agency. They got Plexico Barris. They're for him. But if you're looking at other guys that they drafted throughout the years, what was Victor Cruz?
But
what was David Tyree?
No one's saying it's high.
But here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that everybody doesn't really talk about is the fact that while you got a lot of other quarterbacks that elevate their guys to another level, Aaron Rodgers does not necessarily do that. And you can actually look at that when it comes to.
It's hard to say.
Dude,
oh my God!
Kadeen,
If you want
hold on
to,
one
if
second.
you want,
I'm
going to leave it at
Go
this.
ahead. Finish up.
If you want to know what it is that playing with Aaron Rodgers is like, go listen to the quotes from Greg Jennings and his other former wide receivers once they have left to talk about what it's like to have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. After you do that, come and talk to me about what it is that's like being developed as a wide receiver in Green Bay with an Aaron Rodgers.
First
he
off,
doesn't
Greg,
do anything else that the other guys do.
Okay, so a few things there to unpack. Let's start with Eli Manning. They won both those Super Bowls because of elite defenses, okay? It wasn't because of Eli Manning either time. He made a couple great throws. One was a lucky throw to Tyree, who caught it. One was a spectacular throw to Manningham. They beat the Patriots twice, elite defense overall. Brady couldn't figure it out. You're adored, Brady. All right, could not figure that out. That's one. Two, Greg Jennings, the guy who then went to the Minnesota Vikings, had sour grapes with the organization to begin with. So if he comes out and says Aaron Rodgers is whatever, that's one wide receiver, boot frickin' who. You're not going to hear that from Davante Adams. Equanimous St. Brown. Jeff Janis, who had like 12 catches on the season, and then he has two 50-yard Hail Marys. Dude, the guy makes the Hail Mary look like a fucking skill. It makes no sense. Nobody else does it quite like he does.
I'm not going to give
well.
Aaron Rodgers credit for his Hail Marys.
As a Lions fan, you can't because Richard Rodgers ended up catching.
Dude, first of all, one of them they called a bullshit face mask on the Lions.
The fact that you even say one of them, there are 4 or 5 of them.
Where does Aaron Rodgers rank in fourth quarter comebacks?
Listen,
but
this team is normally
29.
I don't think it's just there. Here's the thing. Okay, again.
I'm saying here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers sucks. Don't get me wrong. He doesn't suck.
He's the league MVP. Of course he doesn't suck.
He's elite. The thing is, Aaron Rodgers to me is John Elway before the 2 back-to-back Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers to me is Dan Marino-esque. He's in that stratosphere. But he's not. Whoa. Wait. But here's the thing that I have a problem with. He is not on the same. He shouldn't even be in the same sentence as a Tom, as a Joe, as some of these other guys that have proven that they can win.
What about
He's
Peyton?
not that.
What about
Peyton,
is it Peyton?
He's probably along the lines of more like Peyton, but here's the thing: at any given point in time,
I would take any of those quarterbacks.
I'd take Peyton over Aaron any day of the week.
You realize you just said the names you said: Peyton Manning
are probably the best 5 quarterbacks in history.
Yeah.
If Aaron Rodgers is in New England, they don't win those Super Bowls. That's my point.
So that's
he's
subjective.
He's
that's
not
subjective. I won't get into that.
I get it. But what I'm saying is that when it comes to Aaron Rodgers is a dude that can do amazing things in the regular season. In the postseason, hit or miss, but he's put up amazing numbers overall in the postseason.
All I'll say is
my thing is when you have to make the throw on third down in the third quarter, when you have to make the throw in the fourth quarter, he doesn't do it, and he doesn't do it repeatedly. When you even have in this last NFC Championship game, you got a third down where he could have walked into the end zone, and he didn't do it. They go for it on fourth down, and on fourth down, he's after the game saying, I don't know. I thought we were going to do this, that, and the other. And it's like, come on. The way that he treats his wide receivers, the way that he throws his linemen under the bus, the way that he throws the organization under the bus at every given opportunity. But that's what he does. It's just he ain't built the same way that other guys are built.
Okay, yeah, the organization.
And I want more of him because the dude is everything that Aaron Rodgers stands for is something I should be into. Like, I love mobile quarterbacks. I love his sense of humor. I love Jeopardy. I love Game of Thrones. He was on Game of Thrones. He does everything that I want to do. He's my guy. I love Aaron. I just hate the fact that he gets a pass when there's so many things that he does wrong. And my thing is, when it comes to Green Bay right now, if he's looking for a situation or a team that's going to give him more than what Green Bay's tried to give him, with the amount of money that Green Bay's also tried to give him, he's going to find out the grass is not much greener in other fucking pastures. And he's going to find out mad quick. And that's something that I will put my words down right here, set him in stone. He's going to learn really, really hard that the grass is not greener than the situation he had in Green Bay.
I think his talent level is absolutely insane. So Davante Adams is better than any wide receiver the Washington football team has. Terry McLaurin's very, very good, though. And then, who's the number 2 wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers? Go ahead. They got talent. They surround him. Go ahead.
Well, between MVS and Equanimous and whoever it is.
Who are these guys? I mean, that's the thing. So you talked about Rodgers not necessarily making those guys better. He does make those guys better. You wouldn't have heard of a guy named Equanimous St. Brown if not for his name being what it is, or Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They're fine players. They are not great, and he makes them look really, really good. If you gave him Terry McLaurin, if you gave him Curtis Samuel, if you gave him Antonio Gibson out of the backfield, sometimes in the slot, he could make those guys look really, really good. Rodgers elevates the people around him, and I don't think that is up for debate at all. Rodgers will change any place he goes to. If substitute another quarterback in to Green Bay.
Yeah.
It never works. When DeShone Kizer was there and he played like 3 quarters against the Bears,
dude, that's who
they had. That's who they had at the time.
That's not a good example. That's not a good example.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
So, actually, to your counterpoint, Matt Flynn looked good in that one game.
That one game, week 17. But that's it. And that was 8 years ago. 9 years ago.
I mean, you're talking about replacing him with non-starting quarterback material. So I don't think that's a good what? DeShone Kizer?
No. Okay, that's who they did at the time. I'm saying just
like,
take one second, Matt. Take an average quarterback, 16th, 17th, average starting quarterback, instead of Rodgers. Yeah, I think Green Bay is significantly worse. Yeah, I think you then see a little right. I then think you see how little talent outside of Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams that they actually have, because Aaron Rodgers makes so many plays, even drawing people off sides. He does that constantly, just the little things like that. He's so good at this.
If I'm Green Bay, June 2nd, I'm moving the fuck on.
And I hope he comes here. Because he would totally
I do not want that contract. I don't want him eating up that percentage of the salary at all.
We have the cap space. You just said Peyton Manning. You just said Dan Marino. Think about the people you're comparing him to. Think about how starved we've been for an elite quarterback. And you wouldn't take him. His contract is not that bad.
Like 36?
30 something right now. I think if they cut him before June 1st, the dead cap is 36, 39.
If they cut him,
if they trade him before June 1st, they have to eat it. They're gonna wait until after June 1st because it drops to 20 something mil.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I'm not trading. I'm not mortgaging my future as far as in Washington right now with the defense that's got to get paid with the dude that's going to command that percentage of the salary at that age. I'm just not doing it.
I wouldn't do it because, to be honest, I don't think it. Do you think if, let's say it was just a draft picks and like a couple, decent starters, would Washington even be a
yes?
Do you think it'd be a Super Bowl contender?
Yes. Their window's open. Their window's wide open. The defense is really, really good, and you get an elite quarterback. You put the league MVP at quarterback, and you have
if Aaron Rodgers is on Washington's team,
it's crazy though because you'd be paying that much money to the guy to back up Taylor Heineke.
No, I understand that. Okay, but it's nice to have that security blanket. Jokes aside, you put the league MVP at quarterback. You have that defense. You still have Terry McLaurin. You just got Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson. I don't think you're trading a running back all of a sudden. That is an incredibly dangerous team with an underrated offensive line. I think we can all agree people don't talk about the offensive line for Washington. It is underrated. It is good. Eric Flowers being back, a very nice move. All they did was swap 7th round picks for it. They're only paying $3 million this year out of the 9. 6 is being paid by Miami. So I would absolutely do it. 100%. If he's going anywhere, it sounds like Denver, but it's early days. We will see what happens. But that's going to wrap it up here. Very heated debate.
Dollar bet. Aaron Rodgers over under 0.5 games for the Green Bay Packers next year. Does he get traded?
Yes, he does.
He gets traded.
Yeah. What do you think?
You can't. It's the same thing that's happened with Deshaun Watson. If it wasn't for the allegations that came with the Deshaun Watson stuff, he'd probably be.
It seems like similar to the Russ situation, the Deshaun situation, because both were on great teams in situations that were winning, seemed to be getting on, good coaches, and yet unhappy for some reason. Maybe Aaron just wants to get out of Green Bay. No one's talking about that. Dude's been in Green Bay for 16 years, and maybe he's like, hey.
He wants to get out to the West Coast. You saw the list of the teams. He wants to get out to the West Coast. He wants to
host Jeopardy. He can do all that stuff.
Denver makes the most sense because Green Bay's not going to want him in the same conference, having to play him at any point in time in the playoffs.
Right.
So
Denver's also not on the West Coast.
Denver's
hey, the
close enough
Packers.
he can hop on a
Yeah, but
flight
I mean,
and
he can
go.
always fly. It's really not a big deal. It's just more of a.
And John Elway's not gonna let that go. He's
Green
gonna
Bay
want
picks,
him.
Green Bay picks at 29. Maybe he did all that shit to finally get a first-round wide receiver. That's something they don't do, is give him a first-round wide receiver. Maybe they do that. By the way, the New York Giants, while we were recording, took Kadarius Toney, wide receiver from Florida. So there you have it. In the NFC East, Devontae Smith, wide receiver to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, Quiddy Pay. Let's go.
Micah Parsons, linebacker from Penn State, going to the Dallas Cowboys. And you got Jamin Davis, linebacker, Kentucky, going to the Washington football team. Kadarius Toney, along with a future first and I think fourth-round pick as well to the New York Giants this 2021 NFL draft first round. So, yeah, we could talk about Aaron Rodgers forever. We could talk about Deshaun Watson forever. We're going to cut it here. But thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed.
Mac Jones, New England's going to the Super Bowl 2 years.
Yeah, dollar bet. Absolutely not. That is the worst take. That might be worse than your Aaron Rodgers.
Wait, hang on. Is he going to be their starting quarterback?
Yes.
Like, I think I trust Cam
Newton. Dollar bet.
Cam Newton starts the season as quarterback. They're going to transition to Mac Jones.
I'm saying when they win the Super Bowl, is Mac Jones?
He will be the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
Yeah, I'll take that.
He's a winner.
All right, cool. I'll see you gents later.
It's gonna be Aaron Rodgers probably. All right, talk to you guys later.
It's
Fuck Aaron Rodgers.